Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, man. Sorry about that. Fam, what's up? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, man. Had one of them days, man. Like, just like all over the place. But we here. We here now. We at it. Drew, what's up, bro? I haven't spoke to you in a minute. We here now. The Dow tanked today. Markets are tanking. Crypto is down. Stocks are down. Everything is down right now. It's actually interesting as well. Oh my gosh. Where's my water? Sorry about that. Appreciate everyone from joining Trade Talk Tuesday. It's going to be a good one. Got a very, very, very special guest. Very special guest. I'm like very eager to introduce him as well as like speak on it. But yeah. Like as a fan, I'm hyped about this. I mean, obviously, you know, as I guess as an interviewer, I'll be hyped as well. Would I be an interviewer? I think that is the word, interviewer. But before we actually get into that, we're really going to talk about the markets real quick. As I just said, the Dow has been down today. Stock market has been down. S&P is down. Crypto is down pretty much across the board. Now, normally, these are the times that you want to take advantage of as an investor. Hold on. How do I wave? Normally, you want to take advantage as an investor. But me personally, I'm actually waiting. I don't think the market is done dropping. So I'm actually on a... well, that's why. Let me say this first. So, disclaimer: everything I said here today is for entertainment purposes only. Do not act on any of this without consulting with your personal advisor first. Again, everything is said here. Do your own research as well. That's pretty much all I really need to say. But besides that, me myself, Sensei Marcus is gonna be here. Me myself though, I am on a buying freeze. I'm not buying any assets for a little second now, maybe about like a week or two. Just see how things are. I'll just put that out there for you guys. The reason why, because again, I don't think that prices are done. And a lot, even my dollar cost average, I actually put that on pause as well, which I normally don't do. But I think that we're gonna have a very, 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 very strong correction across the board. So I'm gonna wait it out and see. We got a lot of that going on as well. But one thing that I wanted to talk about before we even get on is, well, let's talk about in reality. My research comes from TikTok, bro. Catch up. yeah. Let me say that right now. So a lot of guys, not when I say guys, I'm talking about girls as well. Y'all be like doing your research from TikTok. I don't recommend that. As I said, like majority of people, this is the blind leading the blind. They have no idea what they're talking about. Like if you really want to do your research, go to like Yahoo Finance. You can do that. Easily type in an asset that's on the stock market, right? You can do that. You can go to coinmarketcap.com. And you can look up any type of crypto you want as well. So just report him. Cryptocurrency is... Nah, he's being funny. Drew's actually a beast. Someone said he just reported you. Yeah, Drew's a beast though. But what's up, bro? But yeah, you can easily do your own research. It's not difficult to go about doing so. And I recommend y'all do that because again, like as I said, you got a lot of people on social media who just get hype and they don't know what they're talking about, right? So they'll probably be on Reddit watching or reading something that they saw. And then from there, what they'll do is they'll come on social media, they have their clout, and they say, hey, buy this, buy that, and so forth, and think the price is going to go up. Next thing you know, they indulge for like 2 years later. Like, why the hell are you still in that? So, anyway, I digress. But can we get our guest on? So I have like a whole script that written down. Let me shift my brain over here. Well, my camera. So, today's guest is a serial entrepreneur and trading expert. The value that he's given to the trading community is unmatched. And when I say unmatched, I literally unmatched. He has a hand in pulling a lot of current mentors up the ladder, including myself. This is someone who's off the grid. And the fact that he's even agreed to doing this interview right here with me, I'm extremely grateful and I do appreciate that. So let's get Marcus Garrido right here on it. How do I accept it? Sorry about that. Hold on, guys. Little error. There we go, man.
Hey, listen. Hey, first and foremost, I just want to say this is my first live on Instagram ever.
Yeah, this guy is off the grid. I really appreciate you doing it. But hold on, I said I was gonna wait until we get on here. So I actually do want to say this, give you flowers. So, guys, if you're watching on YouTube or live right now, there's literally, it doesn't matter how many courses I purchased, how many mentors I paid for, like literally across the board, there's 3 people who has helped me out on my trading journey. When I say help me out, I mean like where I'm currently at, help me get there. 3 people. This guy right here is one of them. So I definitely I'm
Appreciate you,
grateful that you are on this live right here. Again, I'm like a kid in the candy store. I'm fucking hyped right now, bro. Seriously, I really am. But yeah, what's up, man? What's going on?
Hey, man, just here. It's been hot in California. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with the weather here in California, but we had excessive heat waves. So today it's finally cooled down. So we're good. Hey, somebody called. I don't know if they calling you by your name or they just said that you're handsome.
Yeah, I peeped that too.
I was like,
we gonna talk.
We're starting off on the right foot.
Yeah, that's a fact. We're gonna talk about this though, man. But yo, for starters, your Instagram name is non-fungible. Let's first talk about that. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so first of all,
I know, but for those who don't know, what does that mean?
So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Dakota. He's actually Tuna Trader on here. He's commented a couple times.
He's different.
So I want to shout out to him because nobody knows this, but I'm still super new to crypto in the sense I just started getting into it deeply beginning of last year, maybe March or April, spring. But I dove super, super heavy, and so I went on this rabbit hole of crypto everything.
Right.
And yeah, to kind of play off the name, so you wanted me to explain non-fungible?
Yeah, I don't think people understand what that means.
So the word fungible basically, I'm trying to put this in layman's terms to where somebody that has no idea what an NFT is can kind of understand what fungibility is. So fungible just means you can exchange something for the same thing. So let's just say a dollar bill, right? It's a $1 bill. If I give you a $1 bill and you give me a $1 bill, that's a pretty equal exchange. Those are what's called fungible items. So it's not necessarily just in the crypto space. Non-fungible means it's unique. So for example,
right.
something like a Bored Ape. And everybody, if you don't even know what NFT is, you've heard the word Bored Ape before,
Absolutely.
Right? It's the issue though is most people that don't understand NFTs think that NFTs are the artwork themselves, which actually is not true. And the reason why I changed my name to non-fungible Marcus was honestly, I don't really even use Instagram to be honest, but I'm just really bullish on NFTs, the technology of what an NFT is, and because I think that's going to change investing for the retail investor with real world assets that people normally wouldn't have been able to invest in prior. And I think it's also going to change the game for artists such as Tory Lanez. I don't know if you guys know, anybody on here knows that Tory Lanez last year. It was either early this.
I think it was last year as well. I think
last year,
the summertime, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Last year he sold an album as an NFT. He made 1 million copies available for $1, and he sold out in less than a minute. So he made $1 million less than a minute. What people don't realize about the power of NFTs is the creator can via the smart contract when they create it, they can have a royalty, meaning so for example, let's say that I'm Murakami, right? And I have a painting. I sell my painting for, I don't know, $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to see another penny from that painting ever again, right? But if I sell my art as an NFT, I make whatever I said is my royalty, 10% on every sale in perpetuity. And so I think that it's going to benefit a lot of people in regards to artists, whether you're painting, whether you're somebody that does music, whatever it may be, even if you're just selling a course, because people's courses have been sold as NFTs and resold, right? And so you can make money on you can buy somebody's course, flip it, sell it to somebody else, make money, and then that person, the creator of the course, also makes money as well. So I'm really bullish on NFT as a technology, and so yeah, that's kind of sort of where my Instagram name comes from. But yeah.
Yeah, it's dope though. But even NFT across the board, right? So obviously NFT, you want to talk about crypto as well. So what drew you into the crypto space?
Well, so for me, I missed a lot of the bull run of was it 2017? 2019 is when there was that big correction, right? With Bitcoin, and I was like, man, like I really need to learn the space because I was in day trading since 2015. January 2015 is when I first started, and I was like, I'm doing myself a disservice with not studying the technology behind this because I knew what Bitcoin was. Like I heard of it, you know, Ethereum, et cetera, but I didn't know the technology behind it. I didn't know what smart contract was. I didn't know what blockchain technology was. Um, I couldn't tell you anything about crypto. I couldn't tell you anything, like nothing. Like I didn't even have a wallet in
Oh, damn.
prior to 2021. I didn't have a wallet.
Damn.
It was just something that I neglected. And then when I started to do research, right, I started to understand this. I came into crypto like sort of around the time where Ethereum 2.0 was gaining a lot of traction in regards to like, you know, when is it going to be
Oh,
released,
wow.
etc.
So that's not too long ago.
Right. So I took a deep dive in like layer two,
Hmm.
sharding, like the words that like if you're not in the crypto space, you have no idea what
No
those words
idea what
mean.
that. Yeah.
None. Sharding, what is that? Like I'm not talking about you like pooping your pants, uh, you know, when you fart. But no, like I started to just dive deep into like everything,
Hmm.
all the and what was it? Well, I can't remember the name of the channel. White Boy Crypto was like
Oh
so if you
yeah.
guys are
I get a lot of research from him as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he be
So
killing. He be
if
killing.
you guys are brand new to crypto, like you have no idea what's going on, whiteboard crypto, just YouTube it, and it'll break
YouTube.
down
Yeah.
things. It'll break down things in a way that like I don't want to say a kid can understand, but like somebody that has no idea. And that was me. I
No,
had no
one
idea.
1000%, especially with the animations, bro. So no, 1000%.
Right,
Yeah, like a kid.
right,
Yeah.
right. And so I'm sitting here learning about all these types of things, all words that like would confuse the hell out of me if I were to try to like research it on my own. So they broke it down. They broke a lot of things down. Honestly, I went top to bottom on their YouTube channel, and that's what really
Same. That's
started.
what I did too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
started
really
from there,
started
went
me.
from friends and stuff. They got some mentors on it. Yep. Same
Yep.
shit.
That's what really started me. And so now, like, when I read certain articles or I watch certain YouTube videos, like, I know exactly what they're talking about. And
Mm.
that's the important thing. And I started, you can ask my wife, like, I had flashcards. Like, I would make flashcards with, like, the words. I write the definition on the back. Like, that's just kind of how I, like, process information. And I learn, like,
Smart.
through repetition. So, yeah, man. Like I recommend anybody that's on this, that's watching this, or that will watch this in the future. Like, if you don't know anything about crypto, you should, and you should start with like whiteboard crypto and stuff. There's probably other channels that are similar, but
Wait a
that's what I
second. So
started with.
so you're telling me that you didn't know something, so you did research on it? Huh.
It's crazy,
That's
right?
very interesting how that works.
It's crazy, super crazy.
Let's
But yeah,
let's
man.
yeah, keep going. I want to. I wait
No, no,
I want to flip
I'm
it.
pretty much done. But I was just saying, like, you know, there's if you're confused, right? There's plenty of resources that are going to break it down
Oh
in
yeah.
an elementary way that will help you understand. Because that was me, I was lost. And shout, like I said, shout out to Dakota again for getting me started.
Nah,
Um,
Dakota's a beast, man.
he did like an
That's
hour or 2 hour like Zoom call with me, like just for
oh,
free.
that's
Like,
love. That's
yeah,
love,
yeah,
man.
that's
He's a beast.
love.
He's a beast,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he doesn't get
yeah.
a lot of recognition that he deserves. Man. Him or Stanley, bro.
Well, he's
They
like
killing him
me.
down there.
Well, Dakota's like me in the sense of like I don't really be super active on social media. As a matter of
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
I have like a small group of people that are all my close friends, including yourself. And outside of that, anybody else that follows me has no idea that I'm even on Instagram. I don't even because I don't post on my main. I just post to my close friends on my
That
story. So
makes
I
sense,
don't.
though.
I'm not really a fan of social
Yeah,
media.
you're
But
definitely
yeah,
off the grid. Like I remember when
yeah.
you were bro, you were gone for like a good 8 months, and then I knew you just popped up. I'm like, what the hell?
Welcome back. Yeah, yeah.
But
I,
let's put this into trading though, because like I know again you got a lot of value as it is to the community. But how long have you been trading for? Let's start with that.
since January of 2015. I came from MLM. Like I did, it's like the typical story. Like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like you know, I started searching for like opportunities to make money. MLM was like what I started with. But like I'm very private. I'm very like quiet. I don't really like to babysit people. I don't like to talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm really weird about that. And so MLM was never really my thing. And so when I found uh, my guy Leo Williams, I was in Costa Rica at the time. It was like December 2014, and
Mm-hmm.
he just invited me to like a group, and I started learning from there. And so yeah, January of 2015. So it's going on shit, almost 8 years now.
Oh god
Yeah,
damn.
2020. Yeah, 2023. We're creeping up on 2023 now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we're getting up there, man. We're getting up there.
yeah.
What is like the biggest challenges that you have faced as a trader?
I think I would
Hold
say
on,
the
was he
big.
an IML back then? Nah, IMO wasn't around in 14. Was IMO around in 14?
I don't know, man.
I
It
think what
became.
wasn't it like a what is that? It was like some was like wealth generator or something like that. Was that? I think
There
that
was
was
so,
around.
but there was so many at the time because there was a lot of scammers at that time, and not that there aren't now, but like at that time, like people don't realize like Forever and Profit wasn't even a thing when I started trading. Q Banks wasn't
Oh
who he
man,
was when I started
damn.
trading. There was no Astro was really even just starting out at that time. Like back in the day, really, there only really like real like course or anything you could take was like market maker method, and like
Yeah.
that was my found. That's what I started on because there was nothing else. There was nothing else, and so um, yeah. There was at 2016. I think there was a lot of like MLM companies that sort of just like popped out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
started taking things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what did you do to really like grow your knowledge with trading, especially back then when you didn't really have the research that we do?
So I started out in a group called War Three Associates, and that's also kind of where like Q and Ryan came from as well.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing Forever and Profit. That was like within the first 5 months of my because they came out with that as like April or May of like 2015. So I was still like learning and stuff like that. And I met a guy named Jake Coleman, and so he ended
Jake,
up.
man, Jake is a fucking beast,
I haven't
man.
talked to him in a minute, but
Funny enough, that's actually number two.
yeah, yeah, I haven't talked to
Your
Jake in a
your name,
while.
Jake is another one. There's a
Yeah,
third person,
yeah.
but yeah, Jake is a beast too.
Yeah, and so he helped me understand like market maker method, which I don't use anymore at all. I actually still use the TDI from that,
Oh wow.
but I don't use that anymore. He also helped me with like harmonics and stuff. I don't use that anymore either. Um, but he was I would say was like the foundation of like sort of me finding my breakthrough in trading.
Okay.
Um, Full disclosure, around that time, there was a certain PDF that was going around, which was Astro's very first
Ashes.
um, what's funny about that is after that they didn't make no more digital PDFs. It was all like they if you bought their course, like they literally send your booklet to you after you purchased it because they knew that it went
I
around.
think everybody got that.
But I mean, listen, I'm not proud of that. I'm not bragging about that, but yeah, that helped me a lot. I'm going to be full disclosure. And so there was a lot of things that at the time you just had to piece everything together because
Right.
there was no like real. And now there's so many different like mentors and stuff. But I would say over the years I struggled a lot. Like when I was starting out, and even to this
Mentors.
day sometimes.
Mentors.
Right, for sure. But there's much more legitimate mentors
Oh
today
yeah,
than there was
100%.
in 2015. A
Right.
1,000,000%. And so I would say I struggled a lot with like the mental aspect of trading and like holding trades. And I say like um, one of the biggest tips I can give is like you ever watch Shark Tank? I assume that
Yeah.
you've at least seen it.
Yeah.
What's the thing that they get on business owners the most for not knowing?
P&L.
Sure, but in general, they're numbers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like if you go on Shark Tank and you don't know what your customer acquisition cost is, you don't know what your shipping costs are, you don't know what those numbers are, you're not getting a deal. Like you're
Yeah.
just not. Right? They're gonna send you home. They're gonna say you don't know your business. If you don't know your
Right.
numbers, you don't know your business. And so one of the things I that I'm really big on, especially now, is like keeping my numbers on everything, right? Because if you're somebody that's struggling and you don't know what your average close risk to reward is,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a difference between your projected risk to reward and what you actually close at, what you're
Right.
averaging. Because if you're, let's just say you're a 50% trader, right, and you're closing at a 1-to-1, you're going to break even. You're not making any money because every loss negates an entire win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have a 50% win rate and you're averaging a 1-to-2, if you're risking 1%, you're gonna end up at 10% gain for that month. And so that's the difference between a 1-to-1 or the 1-to-2. 1-to-1, you can be profitable. You just have to have a higher win percentage.
Right.
And so it's important to know your numbers. And so I keep track of everything. And weekly I have a spreadsheet that I track all my trades and everything, so I know what I'm doing. I talked to you earlier. I told you last week I lost 1.5% on NFP week.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to track for the next 4 to 6 months. I'm going to track my performance during NFP week to see, okay, if over time I'm doing bad, I'm just going to not trade that week. But
Right.
if
And
over
that,
time I don't want to have one bad week and say, okay, I'm not going to trade NFP week anymore.
yeah. And I'm glad you said that because, as we said earlier as well, a a lot of people, like, as you're down, you said 1.5% for the week, last week.
Last week, yeah.
Right. And some people, they look at it, especially with trading right now, right? So the good and bad thing about trading is that we have the ability to make how much money we want in a day, right? It's also a con because we feel as if like it's never enough, right? So like that
Right, just
forces
keep
us
pressing
to
that button.
overtrade. Yeah, yeah. Like, and even that as well, like most traders, they feel as if like, you know, especially, you know, they see people living these type of lifestyles. And if they start trading tomorrow, and let's say by Friday, they're not living that lifestyle, they think they're not a good trader. And that's not true at all. Right. But you just said, you know, you were down 1.5% last week, but you're not down 1.5% this week anymore.
No, I'm actually up 3% for the week. So you have to zoom out. And so that's why I say documentation is important because, right. So let's say you document 4 weeks. Last week was a losing week. A lot of people would get down about that. Oh, I lost 1%, 1.5% last week. I'm up 3% this week. So I would have to lose 3 trades in a row for me to even just break even, let alone have a losing week. And so you're not always going to have a losing week. Now, if you always having losing weeks, then that's probably something with your analysis, right? If you're not, right, you have to – that's why documentation is important because if you can see over the course of a month or 3 months or 6 months that overall you're profitable, then you're more than likely to not get down on yourself after a losing week, right? But if you're not documenting that and you have a losing week, you're like, man, fuck, man. Oh, shit, my letter.
No, you're good, bro.
Okay, I was like, it just counts. I was like,
you're good.
my bad. You know, you can tend to get down on yourself because you don't have any numbers to kind of back up to make you confident again, right? It's like I now look back at my previous spreadsheets. I'm like, yeah, okay, I lost 1.5% this week, but the previous week I gained 4%. This week I'm already up 3%. So it's like, and then that could change tomorrow. That could change, you know, over the next couple of days. But you know, if you keep track of your numbers, if you know your numbers, you know your average close risk to reward, right? Pips, I don't really care about pips. Pips don't really matter to me because, you know, if you're like me, my stop loss is fluid. I don't have a static stop loss. So my stop loss depends on the pair I'm trading and then also the setup. And so you can average a 1 to 3 and risk 50 pips and lose, and then average a 1 to 3. I mean, and have a 1 to 3 win off of a 10 pip stop loss.
Yeah.
Meaning like you gained 30 pips on the win, but you lost 50 pips on the loss. So you're negative 20 pips, but your overall net profit. So
right.
I say the percentage gain and your risk to reward are the most important things to pay attention to. Pips, I don't really care about pips. I still like I still count my pips on my spreadsheet, but it's something I don't really pay too much attention to.
It's about the money. At the end of the day,
are you making money or not?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I tell people is like I get so caught up on like this and that. At the end of the day, did you make money or did you not make money? That's what it boils down to.
Simple.
Like I said, don't get caught up with all the other stuff. Are you making money or not? Like
simple.
That's it. That's the only way we can judge ourselves as traders, right? If we're making money and progressing or we're not. That's it. That's why it's called P&L. It's not called anything else. It's called P&L for a reason. So no, I definitely agree to that.
Right, because I see a lot. Go ahead.
Keep going. Keep going.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because I see a lot of people that like have this ego about them, like, oh well, you know, these 10 pip traders. Like, okay, well, are those 10 pip traders making money? Because if they are, it don't matter if they're making 10 pips or 50 pips. It don't matter. Like, are you withdrawing money from the markets? And at the end of the day, if you're not, then you don't really have any room to talk about somebody that's only taking 10 pips off the market because 10 pips is 10 pips. Yeah.
Especially like if your lot size is obviously a higher lot size like that too.
Right.
You can have like a 5 lot, 10 pips. You're making some good money compared to someone who's not even making money at all, as you just said. So it's very interesting. Like people, I think like social media. We spoke about this earlier about like, you know, pros and cons. The huge con about social media is that it gives everyone a voice, and honestly, everyone doesn't need to have a voice.
The complainers.
Like, it sucks because like, and a lot of those people are the ones who have influence, right? So as we said earlier, it's like the blind leading the blind. It really, it's terrible that it has that, but your mindset alone is ridiculous, bro. So let's circle back to that. What did you do to develop that type of mindset to where you currently, you know, evolve into now?
Read. I mean, I know it's a very basic answer, but read. Like, there's so many answers in books that like.
I mean, it can't just be read. Like, read what though? Like, I can read The Cat in the Hat. That's actually a good one.
True.
I can read Harry Potter. You know, something like that. And let someone say they read an or Twilight, you don't get the same type of development that you will get.
Yeah, so I mean, some of the most recent ones that I've reread, because I like to read books a couple of times, but one of the ones that I reread recently, and when I say recently, I don't mean like yesterday, but like because I actually have been slacking on reading the past couple of months. But um 4 Hour Work Week is something that I've read. Richest Man in Babylon, um,
Good one.
How to Win Friends and Influence People. These are very common books inside of the entrepreneur community. Like
Right.
all of you, if you haven't read it, you've at least probably heard of it to some extent. But like
Definitely.
those types of books, and then also just kind of like, no offense, like just not being a bitch. Like you have to like you know what I'm saying? Like you should be your best like psychologist. Meaning like I have a lot of conversations with myself, like and whether it's in the shower, whether it's while I'm driving, or there's times where I drive and I don't listen to anything. Like I think, and so I talk myself through a lot of things. I don't talk to my friends or really anybody about anything, because at the end of the day, like with trading, it's like 99% of my friends they wouldn't understand what I'm saying anyways.
Right.
Like if I'm like, yeah, man, I took a loss on GJ last night, it rejected 61.8 and then it just fell right through. And they're like, what did you just say? So it's like, stuff like that. It's like from a trading standpoint, I can't really talk to too many people about that, anyways. But yeah, I would just say for myself, this is not like general advice. This is just like kind of how I got through like mental hurdles. This is just, I talk to myself, I read, I listen to educational podcasts, like, and so I'm always doing something where I'm growing my mind in some way, shape, or form. Like I don't play video games. And it's no offense to video games. Don't take that the wrong way for anybody here that's like aficionados of video games. Like what I'm saying is like I spend almost all my time doing stuff that's going to teach me something in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, just finding people that you respect that have something of value to teach consistently. Talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but I talk to myself all the time.
It definitely doesn't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like I talk myself through things, and so like I said, I'm my own like therapist in a sense. So yeah, it's just like small things like that. Nothing like profound or anything crazy.
But even that as well, I mean, you're implementing it. It's not as if you're just reading it just to read it, right? So
And the
like, I feel like,
consistency.
yeah. I feel a lot of people get stuck on like reading books or watching videos or taking like course after course, but they're not implementing the knowledge that's being taught, right? So then you become the individual, not you, but I'm saying in general, they become the individual who just there's someone who they'll purchase all these courses, they'll watch all these videos, but then they're literally moving their life like a hamster on a hamster wheel. Like you're not moving forward. The only thing that's really moving forward is time. So
Yeah.
what do you feel like people who do that? Like why do you feel people do that in general?
Fear. I
Fear
think
of
that
what?
like fear. So as crazy as it sounds, like I don't know if you ever saw Coach Carter, but the dude, I want to
Years
say his
ago.
name, Timo Cruz, I think is his name. Like towards the end, where he recites that quote, it says, "Our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our biggest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." And I think a lot of people are scared. To, like majority of people in this country, like they don't grow up wealthy. They don't grow up rich.
Right.
That's why you see like a lot of rappers, like they make millions and they stay in the hood, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people become scared of their own success, or they get scared, like,
Mm.
or it's like, well, what are people going to think of me if I do this? What if I quit my job and I drop out of college and I do this? What are people going to think of me? So I think it's fear of like judgment, fear of success, like breaking out of like what you're comfortable. Like I said, that's why most rappers get killed. They get killed in their hometown, like because
Right.
they don't know how to stay away from
Right.
from that. So, like I'm just using that as just a basic example, but yeah, I think fear of judgment and fear of unfortunately success. That's how I kind how I
That's
look at
actually
it.
that's well said. I agree to that as well. I think I think I think a lot of people get caught up, especially social media. Like they want to look like things are good, but when it comes to actually putting the work in, they don't do it. And I feel the reason why, as you said, it is fear of not wanting better for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And people probably saying like that doesn't make any sense, but it actually does. Like a lot of people Like you want better for yourself. When it comes to actually doing the work that's required and needed, right? Stepping out of your comfort zone is not easy, right? Especially when it comes to, consistently stepping out of your comfort zone or the discipline to even doing that as well, right? That's something that I feel like a lot of people lack, and not even just traders, but just people in general. They just lack that. So, but definitely with traders, though, I feel like the biggest thing with traders is the fact that they lack the discipline of staying consistent with just following a trading plan or just like doing what's required for them to really grow, right? Like people get stuck on, as you just say, I lost a week and it's like I suck as a trader. It's like no, like that's gonna happen. Like you're not. It's like your journey as a trader should be an uptrend, right? Sometimes it may be in a downtrend, but you may have a bigger structure, go back in an uptrend. You're gonna have higher lows, right? But them lows, again, it's still a loss. So like look at that as well. But even speaking on trading, let's go back to that though. But what helped you to develop that discipline of like staying on the charts and understanding that these losses are gonna happen? I'm gonna keep moving forward.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got tired of losing. And so but the thing is like when you document because I used to even with market making method, I would backtest, I would document. Like I used to have like thousands of screenshots. I really only have one now that I have on my phone that I can send it to you if you want. But this is back from like has like the blue tracer, the TDI, like all the market making method stuff.
Shit.
Yeah. But no, like it comes to a certain point with whatever you're doing. Like trading is just like the mouthpiece here. But like with whatever you're doing, if you document it or you reflect, like every Friday, regardless, even if it's a winning week, I reflect. And you start to notice that you're making the same mistake over and over and over again, right? On the flip side, if you're not doing that, if you're not reflecting, if you're not documenting, then you don't pick up on that. And so you continue to lose and lose and lose and lose. But then like I said, then you start to pick up on the mistakes that you're making over and over again. And I was doing the same thing where like, early on, like one of my issues was like I was closing early. I would see blue and I would close, right? And so that's why I say winning percentage isn't super important because on paper, I won, 70, 80% of my trades, but they were very small, right? But my losses, I held my losses all the way to my stop loss. And so my losses were way bigger than my wins. And so my win percentage was high because on paper it was high, right? But I would see blue and I would close. And that's why I say like know your numbers, because if you're a 50% trader, that's not bad, right? But if you're not making any money, it's probably because you're averaging a 1-to-1. And what you'll notice is a lot of times like you close the trade and you reflect on the trade after the fact and it goes to your final target. And so if that's consistently happening, then your issue is not your technical analysis. Your issue is not holding that trade long enough. Yeah. And so if you know your numbers, your win percentage, your average closed risk to reward, you can tweak things, not even your strategy. You can just tweak things, even just from a mental standpoint, to make yourself profitable if you know your numbers. And so the discipline comes in making that same mistake over and over and over again of like not holding my trade, like watching the charts too much.
Right.
So what I do now is, and some people may think this is crazy, but I upgraded my trading view a couple of years ago, and because it allows you to do more alerts. I know there's like some extremely successful traders that still have the free trading view, and it's not a knock on them, but it's just because like some people they just they don't need it. For me,
I got tired of them damn ads.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to keep clicking X on the bottom left corner.
They get you quick too, man. I got tired of that.
Yeah. So honestly, that was one of the reasons. But for me, I set alerts. So when I enter a trade, I'll set alert at a certain like sometimes depending on the trade. Like for example, if I'm in a trade where my stop loss is smaller, meaning my target is smaller, I'll have a alert like every 10 pips. That way I know where my trade is at without looking at the chart. And so I'm still managing my trade, but I'm not staring at the chart. So I'm not seeing all the different price fluctuations that are happening on the smaller time frames. And so that's one thing that I think gets a lot of people is they're staring at the chart and they're like, shit. Like, is what's going to happen with price? And so for me now, it's not necessarily like a set and forget type thing, but like I will set alerts on my trading view. I place my trade, I set my alerts, and every now and then I'll check visually, but I know that, for example, like if I get a notification of like plus 30 or plus 20 or whatever, I know that until I get another notification, I'm not plus whatever plus 10 more pips, or not
Right.
plus 40.
Makes
So I
sense.
know where price is without looking at the chart. And that helps me personally because I'm not staring at it. And so I can still manage my trade and do other things while my trade's playing out, whether it's a win or a loss, without staring at the chart. And I think that's a lot. That was my biggest mistake when I was, early on. I was just staring at charts please, please play out,
Yeah.
right?
That's when you
Like,
have hope, pray to God. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You start contemplating life. It's like, damn,
I
So
will ever take another bad trade. You just let this one be a winner.
yeah, so I'm saying damn, I lost 10 trades in a row. I need this, you know. And so, what I'm saying, that really helped me is taking my eyes off the charts and doing other things. And like I said, I had my trading view alert. So I if I'm on my phone, I'm watching something, I still get the alert on my phone. So I know where price is, but I don't see the big wicks in one direction or whatever that could scare you out of a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been plenty of times where if I'm taking the trade based off H4, H1, and then the 5-minute or the 15-minute gives, let's say I'm in a sell and I'm in profit and there's a big wick to the downside, right? In my mind, I'm like, shit, I need to get out of this trade. But if I'm not watching it, I still get the notifications that price is fluctuating because I do, because on TradingView, when you set an alert, you can do one time or you can do every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll set it every time so that I know I know where price is fluctuating at, but I don't see it. And mentally, that personally, that helps me. So it's not general advice, but that's what's helped me personally is walking away from the chart, setting my alerts so I know where price is, and then doing something else, watching a podcast, whatever, reading something.
No, that's so. I think the reason why people they so glued to price is because it's a fear of losing, right? That's the reason why you say nobody wants to lose. Sometimes you could be down. Let's say I put the small number out there. Let's say you're down $300, right? And your stop loss was around negative $100, right? But you keep moving your stop loss because you just want to be right. And then once you're right, you're let's say now you have $5, you just close the trade out. And let's say it plays out in your favor, now you're upset oh my God, I should have held it and so forth. And I think people just don't trust the analysis, right?
Well,
But,
I think also what helped me is putting my stop loss in a place where if it gets hit, I know for a fact I'm wrong. My analysis is completely wrong.
It's so damn simple.
Simple.
I don't get why people don't get that, man.
Right.
That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, man. Bro, I tell my students all the time, stop focusing on a dollar amount. Focus on structure of price. The market doesn't give a damn about how much money you have in it, right? It cares about the market. If the market's going to go here, it's going to go there. That's it.
100%. Because I think a lot of people's mindset is if I put this 10 lot on and this thing drops 30 pips, man, I'm about to make three bands. But you put a 10 pip stop loss, and that stop loss gets hit and then it goes right in your direction. It's that's the worst feeling in the world. Honestly, I would rather lose on a trade where my stop loss gets hit, where it's placed correctly, than lose on a trade where my stop loss was very shallow because I wanted to use a higher lot size and it ends up hitting it and then dropping or rising, whatever. I would rather lose the trade that has a bigger stop loss than lose that trade where I was trying to just use a higher lot size.
Of course. 100%. Of course. So Drew just said if a person is consistently losing a lot, at what point should the person need to reevaluate themselves and the way they analyze? Good question.
You want me to answer? You want to answer?
Yeah. You. I wasn't gonna take it, but you can take it.
No, go for it. I was waiting. I was waiting for you to respond. So if you want to, go ahead.
All right, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
All right, so if a person continues losing, at what point do they reevaluate, analyze? So I feel you should do it literally from let's say your last 10 trades, right? So if your last 10 trades, let's say if out of 10 you're losing let's say 7 out of the 10 trades, then obviously you're doing something. So what you want to do is just take a breather. It could be your emotions. It could be the way you're analyzing the markets. And again, when it goes down to analyzing it, just scroll out or zoom out. So I feel a lot of people, they get stuck on the lower time frames, right? So let's say someone's entering the 15-minute or 5-minute and so forth. They stuck on that, but they're not looking at the higher picture. They're not looking at the H1, H4, or even the daily. So I feel when it comes to that, think about the last 10 trades you took. If you're really losing like that, when it comes to reevaluate, just zoom out. So when in doubt, zoom out. You go to the higher time frame, you have an idea of why the market came back down to maybe that support or maybe came to that resistance. And then once you got that picture of it, then you can go down to a lower time frame and go back to entering. And that's actually the thing about scalp is that they get caught up in a lower time frame, but they ignore the fact that like, hey, maybe this is respecting like a H4 resistance or H4 support, right? If you're holding an H4 support, I wouldn't be selling that, right? But the lower time frame, you could be seeing like a break of structure or break of that, you're going for a sell, and that's what really fuck you up.
100%. Yep. The only thing I would add to that is like, know your numbers. Like,
Yeah,
why, you know what I'm saying? Why are you losing? Because you can actually be profitable at a 30% win rate, right? But it depends on your average risk reward. I wouldn't recommend winning only 30% of your trades. Like maybe you want to tweak something in your technical analysis, but in theory, you could be profitable winning only 30% of your trades. It's not the most ideal thing in the world because your risk to reward has to be way higher.
right.
But yeah, I would say analyze like your numbers. You know, what is your average risk to reward? If when you're closing the trade, are you holding to at least a 1-to-1 minimum? Like, I mean, I would say higher than that, but 1-to-1 minimum. Because with 1-to-1, like I said, your win percentage just has to be higher. You can be profitable.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted, but your win percentage does have to be higher in order to be profitable at a 1-to-1. So know your numbers. So in a combination of what H said and then like I said, knowing where you lie with your business. Trading is a business. And so like I said, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Very simple.
Absolutely. And then we got another question. How many years did it take you to become profitable?
Well,
Wait, I don't know if they mean profitable or they mean like a full time. I think they mean because in reality, like profitable, that's really subjective. You can be profitable for like, a few months out of a year. It doesn't make you like someone who's doing this for a living.
right.
So,
I mean, I don't like
answer how you feel to answer it.
I don't like answering this question for the simple fact that like
Same.
everybody has their
People
own
get caught up.
journey.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. Because I followed Q and Ryan from day one because I was just in that we have a very tight knit community. They were profitable from the jump. Like I was not. Like, that's what I mean. Like, everybody has their own journey. Like they were profitable from the jump, right? And that was maybe a couple months in. Very rare does that happen. Like you got to be cut from a different cloth.
Absolutely.
And I would say it took over a year for me to have like a breakthrough of like, aha, okay, this like. Because like I said at the time, there wasn't much education, and so it took me personally. It took me a lot longer than it did like a Q and a Ryan or somebody of that nature. Like it just took me a lot longer for it to click. But when it clicked, it clicked. And so the reason why I don't like answering that question is because you can start at the same time, have the same education, literally the same education, and not have your breakthrough or become profitable at the same time. It's just not gonna like. I always say this all the time. Like there's no such thing as equality of outcome. There's just no such thing. It's this fantasy. It's like you look at. I'm a big Steph Curry fan, huge Steph Curry fan. He's my favorite player, right? You look at him and his brother, born of the same parents, raised in the same household, and I would argue.
This is a great one.
I would argue.
I see where you're going.
I would argue that because of Steph had a better opportunity in college. Steph was not getting looks from Duke without Steph. He wasn't. Yet one of those players is considered one of the greatest players of all time, no doubt the best three-point shooter of all time, 2-time MVP, first time ever unanimous MVP, 4-time world champion. The other one is 6 man at best, right? And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's like you shouldn't look at somebody else's journey as like a means of like measuring how yours is going to be. And so that's the reason why I don't like answering that question is because it just depends. Like two kids are born of the same parents, raised in the same household. One of them is extremely well in academics. The other one is maybe in special education, right? That's just how it works. This is how it plays out. This is reality.
Yeah, I think it boils down to how you process information, how you react to that information.
Yep.
Because like even myself, I mean, it's people who I've been doing this longer than them. I've been doing it longer than they have. Well, all right, let's do it this way. I've been doing it longer than they have. They're more profitable than me. And there's people who've been doing it longer than I have. I'm more profitable than them. So like that same exact thing too. Like people get caught up on the time frame, but they don't get caught up on what they need to do themselves to become better. Right. So I definitely agree with that. We got another one. I want to split this with investing, but we got one more. How do you come back from a lost mentality?
Come back from a lost mentality or like a losing streak?
I think you mean losing streak.
Losing streak?
Yeah, I don't really believe in losing mentality. So yeah, let's say losing streak.
Sometimes you just got to step away from the charts. Like,
yeah, facts.
it's funny because like my mind, like it's hard for me to fall asleep sometimes because like my mind is always racing. So I play this game sometimes called Wordscapes. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
Mm,
Just to kind of like settle my mind down to like be able to sleep.
mm.
There's certain times where I'm stumped. Like I'm absolutely stumped. I cannot figure out like what the word is. But then I come back the next day and I open the app and I open the puzzle and then boom, it's right there. And so I know it's a very vanilla example, but like sometimes you just have to step away. I just have to like maybe my brain is fried or whatever, and that's why I can't figure out the word. And then I come
Good.
back the next day and I get it like that. Like it's just it comes to me. And so if you're talking about losing streak, I want to say that's probably what they meant when they typed that.
Mhm.
I can't see any of those, but
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
yeah, I can't see anything. Anyways, I think that's probably what they meant is how do you come back from a losing streak? Step away from the charts.
Mm.
We really with anything in life. If you're struggling with anything in life, sometimes you gotta take a step back. Disappear.
That's right.
You know, Hanson knows that
Yeah,
I
he's
don't. I'm
kind
not
of
on social media.
disappeared.
Yeah,
Like,
like just
disappeared.
you gotta step back. And now sometimes that's just me. I'm just fed up with social media. I'm not. I hate social media. But
Why is that? We can dive into that.
I mean, I just think it's a breeding ground for complainers. I think it's a breeding ground for indoctrination. I don't want to go any further than that with the indoctrination because we
Yeah. That's
we're gonna
I
have a
respect
whole
that.
conversation
I
about that.
respect that. Yeah, a lot of things
um,
people aren't ready to hear.
but yeah, I think it gives the
Respect.
wrong people the right microphone. Like
Hmm.
like you have a blue check and the influence that you have with that, you can use that in really evil ways, even if you don't intend to, right? And so I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of it. And to be honest, like personally, I started trading because I wanted to fall back. I didn't want to be. I'm not a loud person. I'm very private. I'm very to myself, and so social media is not really my. I also don't really like too much to be in front of a camera. If you guys are looked at my page for whatever reason, you only see one picture on there. But I have more, and I have only reason why I really have pictures because I have photographer friends. Like I just have friends that are photographers. I don't pay for like photo shoots or anything like that. Like two of my friends are amazing photographers. One of them has a full-time wedding photography business.
That's
Um,
dope.
yeah, and so like I just have dope friends, but I don't like being in front of a camera. I'm very uncomfortable. Like I said, this is my very first Instagram live. I haven't never done a personal one, like a one on my own Instagram.
No,
This is my first
this
time.
means a lot to me, bro. The fact that see, I didn't even know it was your first one.
That's the first one ever.
Damn.
Never went live before. If there was like a
God
history of lives, you'll see nothing. It's zero. It's X'd out. Yeah. So
Dope,
it's
man.
more so like personal things. Like I get it because from a social media standpoint, we've never been in an area where it's easier to go to brand. We've never been in an area where it's easier for that. And so from that standpoint, I think it's amazing. And I think it's amazing to network. I would have never met you without social media. I
Yeah,
would have never
true.
met
Yeah.
anybody. I wouldn't have met my wife. Like there's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened had I not had social media. So I'm grateful in certain aspects, but at the same time, like I do like to spend the majority of my time away from it, which is why like there's times where I'm off for a year and a half at a time just because I just don't want anything to do with
Yeah,
it.
it's like
But
fuck it. Right.
it's a great tool though. I think it's an amazing tool. So it's not like I'm like I want to ban social media or get rid of social media. It's just a personal standpoint. Like I'm not really. It is what it is. I'm not looking to build a brand. I'll help anybody that needs help. Here that's what I'm here for. Uh, I don't
Yeah,
really care about it.
he's legit about that too. Like he's man. Seriously, the help you've done for me alone is ridiculous. As I said, like there's the three people who
All right, who's the
have
third?
like Jared. Remember Jared?
Jared. Last name?
Jared Reynolds.
That
You
name
remember
sounds so familiar, man. If I
he
were to
was
see a
working with
face,
he was working with Wakar. Like he was working with. Do you remember Wakar from London?
I don't. Maybe I'm. If you
Wakar
show
was
me,
I don't have a picture of Wakar. I got a picture of Jared.
damn,
I can send you his page. But yeah, it's
yeah,
you, Jared, and Jake. That's why I said ironic that you mentioned
I
Jake's name.
appreciate you, man.
And
You know what's crazy about that is that almost nobody knows any of those names.
it's so fucking crazy. Like people, like
Yeah,
whenever I say that, the first person they think about is like, oh, Q helped you or Ryan
yeah.
helped you. I
And
mean, don't
shout out
get
to
me
Q
wrong,
and
those
Ryan. Yeah,
yeah, those are great traders. But when it
yeah,
comes like where I'm currently at, it's three people. And this is from all the courses I've taken, all the mentors I paid for, one-on-one coaching. There's three people who have helped me
yeah.
out the most, and it's you three, like legit though. So
I appreciate you,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
I
people have no
appreciate you.
idea who those names are, which is crazy, man.
But
It's
yo,
really
hey,
crazy.
my message for anybody that's watching this or that's gonna watch this: invest in a mentor. Just invest in a mentor. This is not. It's not. I'm not soliciting anything. I don't have any courses or mentorship or anything. Invest in a mentor, whether it's handsome, whether it's somebody like, because you're gonna lessen that learning. You're gonna lower that learning curve. Like it's not gonna take
100%.
as long. Invest. I mean, last year I don't know what I spent almost $5,000-6,000 on. I mean, a big chunk of that came from one mentorship, but
Right.
um yeah, and that was with like credit and stuff. But yeah, invest, guys. I mean,
Oh, I
that's just
remember.
a
Yeah, you started your whole credit journey. Yeah, I remember that. Damn,
bro,
that's been a year already. God damn.
bro. Let me tell you something. It goes way beyond just credit scores. Like I started studying consumer law. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
Shout out to
you've been diving deep into it, bro. I
deep.
remember some things you were posting. Yeah, you've been
Yeah,
diving deep into it.
when I'm telling you when I'm in my trade, I set my alerts. I'm studying. I'm studying consumer law. I'm studying something with credit. Different banks. Like because right now I'm still like I got a lot of stuff deleted from my like collections from my credit report, but I still have one that I'm fighting on TransUnion. But if you know which banks pull from Experian and Equifax, then you're not really affected
You
too
know, worry
much.
about that. Yeah, yeah.
So
It's a
it's
lot of
just stuff
loopholes
like
in,
that.
in this whole game,
Matter
bro,
of
that
fact,
people just don't
listen,
know.
if you guys are with Navy Federal and you have collections on your TransUnion, they pull from TransUnion. Freeze your TransUnion, they'll pull from Equifax. So
That's a gem.
just a random
That's a
ass gem.
gem.
Yeah, that's a gem. That's a
That's a
gem.
big gem right there.
I got
But
almost like 40,000 in credit from Navy Federal, uh, and my TransUnion's frozen. They pull from TransUnion. So
that was smart.
FYI,
That
yeah,
was
I'm
smart
still
move
fighting
that way.
TransUnion right now. So I'm still battling, but we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Study
I'm
credit
real
too,
good with that.
guys.
Yeah, I think
100%.
even for myself too, like I mean, nowadays you have prop firms which gives you that boost. But for me, I
Yeah.
liquidated in my
Yo.
credit card, and that's how I got my starter fund. I had 10K from my credit
Bro.
card, took that,
Yeah.
and yeah.
It's funny. One of those collections on my account was because of that. When I first started trading, like back in 2015, I had like it was only like $500. Um, but yeah, I
But
blew
back then
that
that was a lot
500.
for you. So it is.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta throw
100%.
that out there. I don't want people to be like, oh, like that's. It's always levels to it. So don't get it twisted about that either.
Listen, if you hit like a lot of people that say that they when they first started trading they lost like 100K, those people had money prior to trading. That's not a negative thing. I'm just saying that's just a fact. Me, I was delivering newspapers at the time, like for
Damn,
Washington Post.
that's powerful.
That was pre like Jeff Bezos buying Washington Post. I was delivering newspapers at night from
Oh
like
damn, that was a long time ago.
yeah from like 12. This is 2015. It's like 12 a.m.
God
to
damn.
like 3 a.m. at night, and I'll come home. I would trade London session. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't a credit card. It was like a loan. I had got approved for like this small 500. It was like some shady
Yeah, yeah,
like
I know
loan service thing. Yeah, but
that.
at that time, like I was like, dude, I'm all in. And so one of my collections on my report that one got deleted actually from all three. But yeah, that was from that 100%.
Hold on,
So
Drew's been leaving a lot of comments. Not gonna lie, I don't know who the hell those guys are, but this guy got my respect. What's his opinion on starting out live with prop firms? Hmm. Well,
oh,
what's your opinion on that?
you have to know your numbers first. You have like a lot of people look at prop firms as like their way out, and I'm not saying it's not because honestly, if we had prop firms when we first started, man, oh my goodness,
Bro, what?
yo, I'm like
Shit would have been a
man,
lot easier, man.
jeez. But but no, I would say because you don't want to sit there like listen, it's five depending on what account size. If you're going for 100K, it's normally anywhere from $500 to $600 depending on which prop firm you're using. And also watch out for certain prop firms because they'll lure you with the well, we only require 7% or 6% on the first thing, and you pass or whatever, and they don't pay you out. I'm not saying I had the experience, but like we're entering a new era where stuff like this is now going to get saturated. Whereas like certain things back in the day got saturated, right? And so now these are going to get saturated because like there's a big market for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially the fact that majority of traders are not winning, right? So it's like when you
Right.
think about, especially if you're spending like $500 and you feel like 5 in a row, that right there is what 5 times. That's 2,500 you just spent to the company,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
people keep paying it over and over. They don't see it that way though, but
And the first time, listen, like the first time I took it, I didn't know like how to. I didn't have a strategy going in. Like I had my strategy, but because it was a different thing and it was a prop firm, it's like you have this different level of like. I was overthinking it, I would say,
right.
and so that can also be a thing as well, where it's like, you're overthinking it or whatever. But just I would say, if you're not profitable on one of your small personal accounts, live account, which is important, like you want to be trading live. I would say trade demo to like learn the basics, how to count pips, how to execute a sell stop or a sell limit, like limits and stops, spread and with whatever broker you're going to use, commission, and swap, etc., like that. Like learn the very, very basics, but trade on a live account, because on a demo account you're not going to get that emotional like roller coaster of like losing money or even winning money, right? If you're winning on a demo account, you may get happy because you're like, if you're just starting out, you're like, oh yeah, I'm winning, but like there's no true satisfaction because you can't withdraw any of that from the market. And so become profitable on like a smaller personal account and transition that money, because like you said earlier, more money does not make a better trader. The same way that like more money in real life, because we can get into, we're not going to get into that, but we can get into politics. Like giving people money does not make people better with money. Hey, I always got to like filter myself, like, because I was like,
no, I get you. I get you, bro. I definitely get you. And,
yeah,
we're gonna leave that part at that.
Yeah, we're gonna put that to rest. But yeah, no, like having access to more money doesn't make you a better trader. It just makes you more liable to lose more money. And so, I would say like if you have been consistently profitable, you figure out your strategy, your numbers, go for it. But if not, then don't waste your money, because like you said, you can take 5, 6 challenges, 10 challenges. Now you're, depending on which one you're buying, you're $5,000 in a hole plus. And so, and some people can afford that, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you're still losing money. You could put that in crypto or something,
Exactly.
So, yeah, I would just say be confident in what you're doing first, and then go for it.
Hold on, quick question, because I'm literally fearful that it's gonna cut me off. So I want to ask this question. So, if you can go back in time, if you can go back in time, what's one piece of advice you'll tell your 18-year-old self?
Okay. So I would tell, because my like your first instinct is like, I would tell myself to buy Bitcoin. Like, but I would say like, don't worry about what other people are going to think about you. Because when I first started trading, I was 23, and all my friends were graduating from college. They were getting jobs. They were buying houses and cars and stuff. And I'm sitting there at the age, I mean, I'm 31 going on 32 now, but like, I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I'm a failure. Like, I'm not doing this. And it was affecting me. Right. And so from a mindset standpoint, I would tell my 18-year-old self to be able to prepare myself for the 23-year-old day trader. Don't worry about what other people think. It's like, there's a reason why, like in like horse racing, they wear blinders, right? There's a reason for that, so that the horses don't get distracted by other horses or fans or whatever. It's like they're focused on like the race. Put blinders on. That's all I would tell myself, is like, put blinders on. Don't worry about what other people think, because it's easy to get caught up in like keeping up with the Joneses and like checking off the societal boxes of like, I have to have a degree, I have to do this. It's like, you don't, because most of those people are in debt now. So
right. Bro, fuck, this was great, man. We got to do a part 2.
Absolutely.
I'm
with it. I'm with it.
Like, seriously, bro.
I'm down.
I'm very, very, very fearful that it's gonna hang up. I really appreciate your time, man. This shit was so fucking dope, bro. Like, goddamn, this shit was dope, man.
Yes, sir.
But no, we're gonna do a part 2.
Okay. Just let me know.
I appreciate everything you've done for myself, for the trading community. We're gonna talk after this to schedule out when we're gonna do a part 2.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
But, all right, guys. Appreciate you. I appreciate everyone's time. Till next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys.